There it is. Recording in progress.
Hey everyone, good morning. And when we go to do our interviews, sometimes things happen, things pop up, and you may see that I'm in a different location, and we just go with the flow here. And it just goes to show you that we are thriving beyond crisis. So today I have the honor and privilege of interviewing this amazing gal, and I'm excited to do her interview. Tammi and I have known each other, I want to say for a year or two now. We've been in several different Facebook groups together, and I'm so excited that we are both on this book project together. So Tammi, welcome. Thank you for allowing me to do your author interview.
Well, thank you, Janice, for taking the time to do it also. I appreciate it so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. All of these stories, everybody has a story, and I've often referred to there is a story behind the story. And your story really captured my imagination. I felt as though I was on that journey with you. And tell us a little bit, without me going into your story, I want you to just give us a little behind the scenes look at your story.
Okay. Well, my story is about my relationship with my son. And my son was diagnosed very young with a high functioning autism. Some in the community call it just high functioning. Some people call it Asperger's. A lot of people know it by that. But it wasn't something that was an easy diagnosis for us. So we struggled for a lot of years. And I wanted to write a story about what it is to thrive beyond crisis, because that's what it felt like, and how to get past that, and what we learned and how we did that.
And thank you so much for sharing that with us. And folks, that's only a small snippet of Tammi's story, but it just goes to show you that through your resiliency, not only yours, but of course your husband, your family, and those around you, from something that was unknown to you, because really there are things that we don't know, and how do we navigate around that? So I just would like for you to share with our viewing audience what transpired. Like, obviously you knew that you wanted to do something, you and your husband knew that you wanted to figure out what was going on with your son. And you and your husband became his best advocate. And I know that's so hard for so many parents. Like, where do they begin to, or how do they learn, I think is the more important question, to become their child's best advocate?
Right. Yes, it is hard for a lot of parents. When you're stuck in a cycle of crisis, it's hard to see a way out of it. And it takes concerted effort to say, I'm going to really learn how to do this right. And we had to learn how to do this right. Autism is such a large umbrella diagnosis that it's why they call it autism spectrum, because there is such a huge spectrum. It's like a rainbow. There's different nuances, and every child is different, yet the same. So you have to figure out what works for your child, and what's going to work best. And it's a lot easier to communicate once you figure that out. So advocating within the school system, and
right, and that was
other
going
leaders.
to be my next question. Oh, we're getting a little bit of feedback there. I'm not sure where that's from. But anyways, the one of the things is obviously the communication factor that you mentioned. And I'm trying to ask a broad question because I don't want you to divulge all your story, of course. We're trying to just get the nuances in the background. But the communication factor, you and your husband obviously got to that point. And I want you to share with our viewers and listeners that will be watching this, what did that, I can only imagine, what did that feeling feel like when you realized, oh my God, this is how I can communicate with my child?
It's a very interesting type of satisfaction. I can remember the day that I realized I could finally handle this. And he was 10 years old, and we'd been about 4 years into diagnosis. And one day I went, okay, I can do this. I understand this. This is good. I can be a parent now. And it was kind of, it felt like understanding what he was about and what I needed to understand as well. And it was such a satisfying feeling.
Wow. I just can't even fathom that. I mean, I can hear it by the passion in your voice, but to get to that point, that must have been just so amazing.
Yeah.
So one of my next questions, so pretty soon you will be a published author. What was it like when you went through the process, like of applying, or I think it was a submission or something, I honestly don't recall. I think it was a questionnaire. And what was it like when Lisa Marie and Divya, yes, we want you to be on this project? That must have been so exciting.
It was really exciting, mostly because I know my experience and I understand my experience, but to have somebody else say that we really believe that your experience is going to help somebody else, and to have that affirmation and have somebody say your experience is powerful enough that it should very well be included because you did thrive and you did make it beyond that crisis. If they were just so passionate about including me, and that was a very, very happy moment to realize it.
I understand exactly how you feel about that, and feel that excitement with you. Becoming a published author is just such an amazing thing, but something that you said there, when you said it, like your face lightened up, but also the fact that somebody out there that's going through this right now that will definitely relate to your story. What do you think is maybe one or two pieces of advice? Because we don't want to reveal your story. We obviously know what it's about, but what are maybe one or two pieces of advice that you can share with your reader who's going through this?
Well, it's interesting because I was on a call yesterday with my coach, and we were talking about some of the things that I've learned along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing some market research and was asking other parents, what do you wish you'd known as well? And we all agreed that consistency was one of those things. And as I was talking to Lisa, she's like, well, what about consistency? And I could, explain that consistency for these kids particularly is so important, and they need to know that the rules are the same this week as they are going to be next week, as they're going to be in a month from now. And, do we need a schedule? And what are those points of things that you need to gather that are consistent for your child so that he or she can thrive and move forward? So they're not in crisis either. And so some of those details are some of the things that I talk about. They're some of the things that I teach about. We coach, we talk about how do we say those things. So those are some of the things that I've realized over the years, and I want to help other parents. And I hope that my story shows them that I'm here, I've been through it. And, you know, even if my story touches one person and we can get to that point where they're feeling they can be consistent, then my work, my goal has been achieved, is that somebody hears it's going to be okay.
Wow. You know, that is amazing. So you coach and advocate with parents, and that's a huge thing. So congratulations for you for taking something that is so raw, that is so very personal, and sharing it to the world. I can't wait for our readers to read our book, to read your chapter, and of course to read mine. But today's
And yours, I can't wait to read yours. So excited to learn about Poppy.
yes, and we are so excited to share our story. So folks, thank you so much for viewing or listening to this audio today, our interview with Tammi Schneider. And we just can't wait. It will be out, I believe, mid-July, July 10th through the 15th. But obviously, we will keep you posted. Thank you, Tammi. Thank you for allowing me to showcase you and your story. It has really been my honor and privilege.
Thank you so much for taking the time, Janice. I really, really appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, everyone, we will see you soon, and we will definitely keep you posted.
Bye. Bye.